All right. Well, good afternoon and welcome to our meditation for this week. So, this week, as I've been thinking about things, and today, before I fell asleep, was thinking about things, I had been over the last couple of weeks doing some reading, and for whatever reason, I've been rereading these Greek tragedies. And one of the things that struck me about them, at least the ones I was reading, is that the person with the most sight is the person who has no sight. And of course, that is a purposeful device that was put into the plays, but it got me thinking a little bit about the idea of trying too hard. And I had this conversation this morning also with my meditation group, just in a couple of questions that people were asking me. And so I was sort of rethinking this, that in order to see, it's almost as if we have to stop trying to see. And in order to be able to kind of become aware that when we start to meditate, that we have to let go of more than we hold on to. And it's a difficult thing to explain because I understand it sort of intuitively, but it is difficult for me sometimes to put it into words. So the best way I think that I can come up with it is the notion or the idea that what we want to do as we try to meditate is to really let go of any sort of preconceived ideas, any sort of trying, and really just try to open ourselves up to kind of allowing whatever our inner voice is, our inner light, or that thing, that Buddha nature, I guess they might refer to it as, that is deep within us, and to not try to find it and pull it out, but just to sort of let it come out. And by not trying too hard, by not looking too deeply, we'll find it. It kind of maybe comes back to the notion as I sit here and talk about this a little bit of the ideas when I can't remember something, right? And we've all experienced this idea. I had something on my mind, I wanted to tell you, and now I can't think of it. And the harder I try to find it, the further away it seems. And when I walk away from it, and when I'm not really paying attention to it, boom,
There it
it
is.
pops
Yeah.
into my mind and it pops into my head. And so as we kind of meditate, it's almost like our ability or the work on our ability to stop trying too hard to reach for something and to let it rise is in a sense what we are looking for. So that was what's on my mind, and that's what the blind seer and all of those other things that I've read about. Perhaps maybe that's what they're trying to tell me in some way, shape, or form. So, and I like your hearts. Very good. Thank you. Um, all right, so we'll begin our meditation with that thought in mind, and we will get ready. So let me get my timer ready, and we can begin today. All right, so as we begin, we settle into our seats, we close our eyes, we get ourselves centered and settled. We recognize what it is we bring with us on this day, whatever is on our minds, whatever we are trying to accomplish, whatever things are floating around for us that are perhaps little things that are nagging us, whatever those things are, we just kind of let them rise. We recognize them and we stop reaching for them. We try not to get at them. We just let them be. We let them float in front of us. We let them pass through our vision, through our mind's eye, through our senses. We try to let go of them. And with the letting go of them, we also try to find where in our bodies we're holding on to things, whether it be our shoulders, whether it be our bellies, whether it be our necks, tightness, whether we get headaches or feel anxious or worry. And we try to identify those spots and try to bring our energy to them. And we don't do anything with them except recognize first where they are, focus what that feels like. And as we can focus what that feels like. So for me, my shoulders get fatigued. That is a sign for me that something is gnawing at me. Also, my lower back will start to ache sometimes. Another sign for me that I'm holding on to things. So I try to identify those, I feel them, and I try to let them go. I don't investigate too much what it is I'm holding. I try to work my mind through my body. Since our minds and our bodies are connected, they are really one. I try not to separate them out. I try just to free them, to let them go, and to let it go. And through that process of letting it go, just allowing whatever there is to arise, and to try to see it and to recognize it and to place it in a memory that when it arises again, when I feel that again and I let it go again, I recognize that feeling of letting go. And I try to use those as signs that are telling me, be aware, be alert. There is something there. Pay attention. Don't look too hard for it. Don't try to problem solve and figure it out. Just try to let it go and let it come. And through that process, to free myself into awareness, open myself up to awareness. And so as we sit here today and begin our meditation, we start from that point. And in order to assist us in this process, we breathe in and we focus on our breath. And we feel it come in and we feel it go out. And we use it as our foundational building block. If our mind starts to move too quickly, we come back to our breath. We breathe in and we let it go. If I start to feel tense and tight, I recognize it. I breathe in, I relax my body, and I let it go. And as I do this, I try to become aware of all that surrounds me. I start with my senses. I feel the temperature in the room or the place that I'm at. I hear the sounds that are surrounding me and seeing what comes in. I feel my own body and see what it's telling me, or what it's indicating without trying to figure it out. I move away from working to understand to just keying in on what is present. Almost as if I am walking in a bubble or a force field, and I'm surrounded just by what is present, and that is all that I experience. I have no destination in mind. I have no outcome that I'm looking for. I have no place that I am going. I am just letting it unfold. I'm allowing my mind to do its work and accepting what it brings to me. So as we sit in our meditation today, I can hear the little buzzing that goes on in my house, in my place. And I can feel my body against my chair. I can feel some sense of fatigue that I bring with me today. And I just accept that it is part of where I am. And as I think of myself in the outside world, I think of what arises. And I find myself in a forest, surrounded by hills and small mountains and mountain ridges. And I feel myself surrounded by the color green, green from the leaves on the trees, green from the leaves that have fallen on the floor, green from the little plants and the shrubs and the weeds and the things that grow out of the forest floor. And I sense the ground as being uneven, and that I'm walking in an upward direction. So as I walk, I feel some of the effort and energy in my calves, in my thighs, even a little in my back as I have to lean slightly forward to keep myself balanced as I walk up. And as I walk up, I'm more in tune to my breath because it's working harder. Not that I'm overly fatigued or that I've lost my breath, but each breath is a little deeper to give me a little more oxygen as I move slightly uphill, maybe just walking uphill at a 2 or 3 degree angle. And I sense an uneven ground underneath me. And the path or the trail that I'm walking on is very, very broken, very primitive in a sense. It's very thin, almost like a deer can follow it and run through it, or a raccoon, but for a person, it takes a little bit of concentration to see where it's going, even though I can't see around any of the bends, because it keeps winding. It moves slightly to the west and slightly to the east and straight up over a ridge. All I can see is really what's right in front of me. And so I just allow that to be in this walk. And of course, I walk slowly. I sense no danger. I feel a sense of security. I feel almost wrapped in this forest environment. The sunlight is dappled as it comes through the trees. The sun is high in the sky, telling me that it is far from morning and far from evening at the same time. So I feel a sense of comfort and ease in the daylight. I have no destination, and I have all the time that I need to have no destination at the same time. I don't feel anything pushing me or preventing me from moving forward. I feel a sense of being freed. And so I continue on my walk, surrounded by the green, surrounded by the breeze, surrounded by the sunlight. And I start to listen and use my hearing and ears to guide me. Not that I'm guided anywhere, but to hear something and, in a sense, to follow that sound wherever it takes me. So I hear rustling in the trees. I don't try to think of what causes the rustling. It could be a bird or an animal running through the tree, but I don't attend to trying to define it. I just listen to it. And I hear it, and I walk as best I can towards that direction. My senses are focused on the trail itself, so I try to key in, and when I hear a sound that the trail will take me to, I go to it, or I go towards it. Not expecting anything, but just following the sound as best I can. If I hear a sound behind me or on the side of me, I'll stop and look towards it to see the environment that it arises from. If it persists, I'll stop and listen. I hear chirping, I stop and listen. I hear rustling, I stop and listen. And as I do this, I try to almost become part of the forest. I could be a tree, I could be a leaf, I could be a bird. I let the forest guide me. I let what I hear and see lead me forward. And I keep walking, and I hear what to me sounds like a stream running, but I don't think about the stream. I try not to envision it, or I try to focus rather on the sound of it and not a visualization of what that stream might look like. As I step forward, that noise becomes louder. Very consistent, though. Like a musical score. In my mind, as I walk towards and hear this sound, I can almost see musical notes come before my eyes and what they look like. The score of a symphony, or of a folk song, or of a jazz piano player. And it's almost like I could turn the sound into sight. And then the sight turns to feeling and emotion. And the emotion turns to warmth and security. And the security turns to calm and ease. And as I walk, I follow these mental states, these emotions, these feelings, almost more than the sound. And as I get to the top of the next rise, I can look down, and there is the water, the music of the forest, the symphony that the forest has become. And I hear my feet kicking some rocks as I come over the rise, and I slide slightly and rocks roll down. And they become part of the music. They become part of the symphony. And out of that symphony, the sound, sun, the green, it's almost as if I'm watching myself being a part of the forest. almost understand what it's like to be a tree. Perhaps I do understand what it's like to be a tree. I feel nourished by the environment that I'm in. I know the tree is nourished by the environment it's in. And the birds are nourished by the environment it's in. And so I join them. I become them. They become me. We are one. I no longer feel a sense of separation as an individual in a place. I feel like the place. And I sit with that for a moment, seeing the stream surrounded by green, dappled sunlight coming in, the chorus singing around me as the main stream is the piano playing, the primary instrument in my experience. And I sit back and I sit down right where I'm standing on the top of this ridge. I just sit. Perhaps there's a rock that allows me to sit comfortably, or I just sit on the floor and cross my legs. I feel the unevenness in it, and I'm comforted by the discomfort. And I close my eyes in this environment, but I still feel and sense and see the green. With my eyes closed, the sounds become almost cleaner, crisper. The image that raises to my mind is like carbonated water quickly flowing up and popping into the air. And the sound of that adds to the symphony that we are in. And I breathe in slowly, and I take in the fragrance to add to the symphony. And with my eyes closed and myself opened, trying not to do anything but to take in what comes at me, the sounds get sharper. The visual images, even with my eyes closed, become sharper. It's as if when I closed my eyes, I could see the forest better. Without having to try to see the forest, it came to me. My vision, my image, the emotions that come with it, the sense of quiet and peace, the symphony, like the musical background. It's almost like I was laying down at night in my bed with the lights low, and I turned on a favorite song, something that soothed me, whatever that might be. And the forest became my favorite song. And the emotions of that, the feelings that happened, they arose. And I felt open, almost like a flower blossoming and opening up to the world, allowing it to come in. Almost like the flower could smile at me and feel my sense of comfort and peace and security and kindness and compassion, and recognizing that I am the tree, I am the flower, I am the bird, I am the stream. They all live in my experience, and I in theirs. And I breathe all of this in, and we sit, and we breathe, and we meditate in silence for a few moments. And so we breathe in, and out. We come back and namaste. May the light in me shine in you.